And good afternoon. That was our little intro to give you a little taste of what we're going to be talking about today. As you can see, Laura Davidson is there. So welcome, Laura. Thank you so much to our sponsor for this afternoon's event, Shure. And as you saw, we're going to be talking about the MV7 podcasting microphone. So I'm really tuning in for this because audio is everything. So for all of you out there that don't know, now you know. And if you do know about audio, we're going to be getting an introduction to one of the industry's leading microphones. So, Laura, I'm going to kick it over to you. Take it away. As you
Awesome.
guys always know, if you do have any questions about this or any of Shure's products, feel free to drop them in. We'll see if we can get them answered for you.
Great. Thanks, Derek. And thanks for being here, everybody. Welcome to your lesson on the MV7. We're going to make this hopefully more of a conversation, though, but I'm just going to kind of go over the basics of how this microphone works and what makes it so special. So, we just launched it not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago today. And what makes it so unique is that it has an XLR and a USB output on it. So why that's useful is because if you're wanting to take it and plug it into your computer, your phone, and not have to worry about having an interface, this solves that problem for you. So you don't have to have any other external devices. You don't have to buy an expensive interface to get going. But if you want to, and you decide that you want to expand your recording system, your peripherals, you can do that by using the XLR. So the MV7 is a dynamic microphone with a cardioid pickup pattern, meaning that it's going to pick up what's right in front of it and not what's coming in from all the other places in my untreated office that we're all working in these days, right? We're all working from home. So what's great is that it has off-axis response that makes it not pick up all the other things like cars driving by, the garbage truck that just went down my street, or the mailman. So if I'm over here, you can't hear me quite as well. So that's the advantage of having that cardioid pickup pattern and also the dynamic mic. So dynamics are inherently less sensitive in a good way. So they're not going to pick up all of the external noise, the echoes in your space. But we've also added a few more things to the MV7 to make it listen even better. So I wanted to show you something that makes this guy set apart as well. So I'm going to show you the Shure Plus Motive desktop app. So this guy lets you adjust your levels. So right now I have it set to auto level mode, and you probably heard a shift if you're listening on headphones, which I would recommend if you have a pair handy, grab them and throw them on. But auto level mode is your best friend, especially if you're using things like Zoom, or if you're like me and you have to speak Zoom, Teams, Skype, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, all those languages, and you don't want to have to know how to adjust the settings of your microphone. Auto level mode is your savior because it's kind of like having a sound engineer with you all the time. So they're going to actively adjust your levels, they being the ghost in the machine, and always listen to the signal to make sure that it's sounding its best. And you'll notice down here that you have two options, near and far. So if you're listening in headphones, you can hear a distinct difference. This is great if you don't want the camera to be, or excuse me, the mic to be on camera with you. You can still have it be off camera and further away from you, but still pick you up nice and clearly. But if you want to switch it back over to near, I like to be up close and personal with the mic, then you can do that. So it's based on your application. Are you going to be using it on a desktop? Are you going to use it on a boom arm? Because you can use it both ways. It just flips right around in the yoke. You don't have to detach it. You don't have to unscrew anything. It just flips right around like that. You can switch it 360. So you want to do it based on your environment. So you'll also notice down here that you have some tone controls. And behind the scenes, that's doing some digital signal processing, or DSP, to adjust your EQ, your compression. And so if I switch it over to dark mode, you can hear it's going to enhance the lower frequencies of my voice. Or natural mode, which will keep you kind of middle of the road with a little bit of a boost in the highs. And then bright mode. So if you like that real compressed kind of bright sound, this is a good option for you. But I'm kind of a middle of the road, kind of Goldilocks person, so I stick with the natural side of things. So that's how you can use it using auto mode. And you can also lock the mic here so that you don't let any bumps or changes happen, because I'll show you right on the front. There's this nice cap touch panel, which means you can touch it. It's touch sensitive. And you can adjust your gain levels, your headphone level. If you push and hold it, you can adjust a mix of both. And that's what this main and monitor mix is right here. So I can hear more of the computer, more of myself. This is handy if you're using it for streaming, particularly if you're a gamer. If you want to hear more of your game, you can switch it up to hear more of that computer sound here. That's what that's referring to. So, give you some control in auto mode. But if you want to go under the hood, you can do that here. And now I'm in manual mode. So if you want to get a little more experimental with it, you can. You can customize your own presets. So let's say some days you want to have the mic up close and personal. Some days you want them far away. Sometimes you have a different guest on your podcast, perhaps. Because the MV7 is great for podcasting. It's great for recording music. It's great for streaming live. It's great for gaming. It's got a number of applications. But podcasting specifically, if you had a guest who's a little more far away from the mic, you could create, your own preset for them. You can also mute from the desktop app. And now I'm back. And you can adjust your gain level right here. You have that same monitor mic playback control. The EQ section here is kind of something cool that we've added. So if you're familiar with the legendary SM7B, which this is kind of an homage to, these are the same EQ curves that you can select on the back of that mic. And so we've put them into the desktop app so that you can do that as well. So if you have those headphones on, you'll notice I'm in flat mode and I can do my high pass. It takes a little bit of the high pass out. I really like this one, the presence boost. Presence boost gives me that little boost in the mids and highs, and then your high pass and presence boost both engaged. So some options there. I tend to keep it flat just because then if I'm recording, I can adjust it post as opposed to having to deal with anything that I put in. And there's a limiter that you can engage. So if you have somebody who's a very dynamic speaker or singer and they tend to push the levels and limits, this will help kind of keep that in control. And compression, I can do light, medium, and I can do heavy if I want to get super crispy, which I don't tend to. So, but I like to run it in auto mode because then I don't have to worry about it quite as much. So super handy mode there. Auto, manual mode if you want to get in there, store your presets. That's the Shure Plus Motive desktop app. So I also mentioned that you can use it with USB or XLR. And you can use it USB and XLR. So if you want to run both, that's handy if let's say you're doing a podcast and you want to record your audio through the XLR and you also want to bring a guest on, you could record their audio through that USB. It's also just kind of a nice backup. If you wanted to have one running to one system and one running to another, you can do that. And you might have noticed I've got my headphones plugged in right here, so I can monitor in real time as well. So this is really, the MV7 is kind of an all-inclusive solution and a nice packaged way of having your sounds great, ready to go, highly portable, or use it like I do here where it's ready to go and ready to rock whenever I am. So I am actually plugged in via USB and XLR at the same time, in case you didn't notice that one as well. So that's just kind of some of the features that we're going through. But I also want to talk about how the microphone works from the sensitivity standpoint. So right now I have it in auto mode, so my cap touch sensitivity won't work. So let me switch it back over real quick to manual. So when I switch it over here, okay, now you'll be able to see that I can adjust my levels right from the top of the mic. So I'm actually able to adjust my gain. Can you hear it getting a little louder and a little quieter? Right from the front, I also have a right on the front, and I tend to do it down a little bit easier, and I can switch it again between that input gain and my headphone level control. So nice to be able to control it directly from the mic itself, or put it back in auto level mode and set it and forget it. So as I mentioned, it is a dynamic microphone and it has that cardioid pickup pattern. So it's a great option for podcasting, great option if you're in a less than ideal acoustic environment. So if you notice behind me, there's a lot of glass, there's a lot of angles and surfaces, but you're not hearing a ton of the room. So that's what makes MV7 a great choice if you want something that is going to be useful in your city apartment, if you have a ton of noise outside, if you have noisy neighbors, noisy HVAC, the MV7 really helps to mitigate that just based on how it's designed. So I also have a cool video to walk you through the app a little bit more in depth with my friend Soren. So I'm going to turn this on real quick. And he actually has been integral in the design of this microphone. His name's Soren Peterson. If you don't know about Shure, just real quick, we're based outside of Chicago. We've been around since 1925, and we've made a ton of products that have really left their mark on the market. So for us to bring the MV7 to market, it's a big deal. We don't release a ton of microphones all the time, so we were really excited to get this one out. And Soren was integral in the design and creation of it. So I'm going to let him do a little bit of talking here to give you an overview of what this microphone can do. So.
Auto level mode is something that's unlocked by the Shure desktop app or our mobile apps. That's part of the awesome. Let's go ahead and show them that.
Let's show them the app. I mean, why not?
So welcome to the app. This is our Shure Postmotive desktop app available for Mac and PC. It is a way to control and configure your MV7 microphone and our MV88 Plus microphone as well. Quickly just take a breeze through here. There's two sides here because we were just talking about auto level mode.
Yeah. Let's hit
all those couple of steps that we talked about for the SM7, buying a booster, buying an interface, setting your gain correctly, setting up your interface, getting that software and drivers installed, blah, blah, blah. You just don't have to do it here. To set up your gain correctly for auto level mode, you would say, is my microphone near? And this is roughly 1 to 6 inches, or is it far? And this is roughly 6 inches to 18 inches. And then answer a quick tone question here. So I'm in near mode because I'm right up on my microphone. I have it in natural. They were not doing a whole lot of EQ. It's a combination of adjusting the gain on the fly to keep your level nice and consistent. There's some multi-band compression and a little bit of EQ and all those assumptions we can make because the microphone's really close. So when I go to dark mode here, you hear that low end bump right up, and I'm more kind of in that movie voiceover type of YouTube video type of voiceover-y type of sound. I can tilt it back the other way, get that more NPR type sound, a little bit more about the clarity and what I'm saying rather than how I sound when I'm saying it.
Totally hear the difference, yeah.
Right, and then the natural is just kind of like I said. There's a tiny bit of what we call cleanup EQ behind the scenes, but it's really subtle and just kind of sets it up for the compressor to be successful there. So that's it. That's 3 really quick ways you can set up near. Far mode is a really unique thing, and this is for those, for those streamers out there, for people who just want a little bit of breathing room from their microphone. If you have 2 monitors going for your gaming setup, and you just need a little bit of, or you're like me and you talk with your hands, and you just don't want your microphone directly in front of their face.
Or you don't want it casting a shadow. Like that's why I have mine set up like this. It's in far mode because it's 6 inches away from me. Yeah. And
hey guys, welcome to my live stream.
Right? Yeah, you don't want that. And you don't want it, putting a little shadow action. So that's me being vain. Sorry, I said it. Okay.
I love it. No, you look great. So I'm gonna switch over to far mode and just move my microphone here. So I'm about arm's length away from my MV7 right now. It's just kind of barely peeking into my monitor. Still a nice strong level. I'm not projecting a lot. I'm not talking really loud. But if I happen to get really loud, it adjusts the level in real time there and keeps it fairly consistent, right? And you still get your tonal options. So back here, even though I'm far away from the microphone, I can still get that big supported low end. Or this really tunes the microphone for clarity and intelligibility and all those words. In far mode here,
love it.
So it's right. So it's really there's no wrong answers here too. It's however you're comfortable with the microphone in your face or far away. Closer is always better from a sound point of view. But this gives you a little bit of breathing room and a couple options to just not have to think about it.
So that gives you a little bit more insight into why we created the auto mode in the app and how much more control you actually have, and also what it's doing under the hood a little bit. So it's always fun to bring Soren on there and get his expertise because he is the genius behind this beautiful mic. So the MV7 again just came out 2 weeks ago. It comes in silver. It also comes in black, which you can see behind me over here. And it can be used either in desktop style or boom arm style if you want. It comes with a nice long cable, 2 of them actually. This one goes from micro USB to USB-C. I'm going directly into my iMac, and it comes with USB-A as well, so that you can go into your devices or your computer effortlessly and have plenty of wiggle room to get up and over that boom arm and not have to worry about wrestling with a cable. But again, you can use it on the desktop or in the boom arm configuration just simply by flipping it within the yoke. No need to disassemble it or get crazy. You can just do that right from there. So who is it for? Podcasters, content creators, streamers, musicians. If you're looking for a microphone that will give you nice, clear sound, control over the sound, portability, and also the ability to reject other noises coming into the microphone and be less prone to hearing all of the sounds of the room that you're in, the MV7 is a great option for that. So that's kind of an overview of the product. I'm wondering if we have any kind of questions that are coming in so far, because I'd love to answer them instead of talking at you this entire time. And I think we were just going to kind of do them in the chat, if I'm correct, Derek. Is that?
Yes, yes. If anybody does have any questions, feel free to throw them in. I actually have a question on when you were talking about the compression. Can you go in a little bit more detail about what exactly that is?
Yeah. So compression when you're in, let me actually pull this back up. So you have options with it to either do auto or manual. So if we go into the manual mode, pull this back up. So you can see here that it's going to just do it automatically when you're in auto mode. But if we switch it over to manual mode, the compressor level is what's going to give you the ability to cap the sound, compress the sound, and signal so that it's not going to have as many peaks and lows. So it gives you that crispier sound that we're used to on radio. So you can hear it when I add and go to the heaviest signal. It's boosting the signal and giving a lot more clarity and detail. So you have the option of going light, medium, or heavy. So that's what's going on with the compression there. And it's just like having one that you could use post effect wise, like in your DAW if you wanted to. But it just makes it easier by having the 3 optional presets already configured.
Okay, and within the app, so that will control the output to any external. So for you using it here on Zoom, for example, can you still operate it through the onboard app, and it'll control all your levels for your Zoom output?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just going to switch it back over to auto mode real quick. So in Zoom, when we were setting up the call, I was going through the Zoom settings to try and make sure that everything was jiving. And so when let's say you go into Zoom, you have your little microphone icon with the little caret. And if you click on that, you want to make sure that you're selecting the MV7 as your microphone. I'm also using it as my speaker. So I'm monitoring that in real time. And then there's this little option in Zoom called turn off original sound. And it's up at the top, if you notice. You can select and make sure that says MV7 as well. Just that way you click it so it says turn off original sound. That means it's going to listen to the MV7 and not your internal audio and not the Zoom audio, that it's going to let that MV7 overtake it and have that better sounding audio, because we've all been there with Zoom kind of fighting us every step of the way, right?
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
Well, I mean, and having like for me, it's like, I work off my headphones, so there's nothing I can really control without downloading a third-party app, which it's hit or miss. So to have all that, the ability to adjust everything on the fly.
On the mic.
Yeah, exactly. On the mic end, which is where you want it. I mean, you want it on. It's kind of like, editing your pictures on your camera versus, going to a powerful machine like a computer and being able to have a better interface, and it's being able to do everything there on the mic is where you want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I like about the MV7 too. If you do want to go one step further, get it into your DAW and really get into it, you can. So it's a great entry level microphone, but it's also a professional microphone. You can have that kind of journey. It's a mic that if you invest in it, it's going to stay with you and continue to grow with you as your needs change. So that's why we're really happy about this particular mic. I mean, we make a whole slew of USB microphones that are killer, but this one is a nice kind of step up in the range, but also a great way to know that you make the investment. It's going to be with you for the test of time and adapt to whatever you're wanting to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything else, it's great. Everything that's offered, like you said, through the app, all the abilities of it. But it's like at the end of the day, when you hear the sound, it just speaks for itself. I mean, the sound really does sell itself. I mean, I'm sure everybody who's listening can hear the difference between my audio and your audio, and I can't hear myself, but I know from replays how it sounds, but I can hear your audio and how clean and crisp it is without sounding like it's too much.
Well, and that's good. That's what we want it to do. I mean, I can actually, let's see if we do this, if this will work. Okay, so now I'm on the built-in microphone of my computer. Can you hear the difference? Because right now I'm just hearing the MV7 still. All right, so let's switch back. So now you should be hearing the MV7.
Let me see. I don't think it changed over for us.
Oh, okay. We'll try it
We're
down
the
here.
same.
See, this is the thing with your
With
Zoom.
yes, everybody. So I'll explain to everybody when you go through a cam link, when we do these fancy things, sometimes the Zoom software isn't really there yet to where the software is. So,
Yeah.
but I think we've all heard that the webcam and the combination of the webcam and the computer audio, where it picks
Yes.
up all the ambient noise, and especially
Not good.
now, not even just for podcasting, for people who I think we're transitioning to a time when people are going to be working from home, people are going to be doing work calls, just having a directional mic that filters out the noise around you is so important. It's like I live right in the middle of the city. I got my window open. I got a 3-year-old 3 feet off a camera right who doesn't understand some days that like he's been over here the whole time like this, and it's like I'm broadcasting right now,
High
but just
five. Yeah.
yeah,
But that's
exactly.
that's such, it is one of my favorite things about this time though, is that we've had the ability to see kind of behind the curtain to how we're all living and how we're making it through this. But yeah, absolutely. My window's open right now because it's a beautiful day. I live in Connecticut. I'm not in the city. And a rooster just crowed in my neighbor's yard.
Oh, no way.
So, you're not able to hear that, which is probably better for the live streaming purposes. But yeah, it's meant to make your job as the artist, the producer, whatever, easier without having to worry about expensive acoustic treatments and the ideal scenario, which none of us are in. So,
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, it doesn't look like you have any
no.
treatments to the room done for acoustic purposes. It's like it literally is just like you got echoes all over the place, or the
Surfaces
walls and
that do echo, yeah. Hardwood floors down
exactly.
here. So it's pretty much
Wow.
like an acoustical nightmare if you were to break it down, but the MV7 really, really makes up for that and makes my life tremendously easier. And I'm just using this every day for my conference calls because, I mean, yeah, I work for Shure, but if you are a musician or if you are a podcaster who wears multiple hats, or you're podcasting on the side, or it's something that you're passionate about, and you're on calls all day for your 9 to 5, why not look really cool and get an MV7? Because I can tell you, all of the PTO calls that I've been on with this bad boy have been rocking because everybody's just like, what is that? Yeah. So,
It does have the good look. It's like you get into like it makes you want to put on your radio voice and
yes.
it's like
Welcome
lean
to
into
my
the mic.
podcast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which you can do in near or far mode. So, yeah. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Cool. Trying to think of what else I can tell you about this amazing, incredible mic. I can also tell you that B&H carries all of our USB microphones, which I mentioned, so I can show some of those if that's all right.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever you have for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the MV51, and it is a condenser microphone, a large diaphragm condenser. And it has this cool capability to change preset modes. It can also control your input level and headphone level, just like the MV7. It actually kind of inspired this touch panel on the MV7. It can sit on your desktop. It can screw into a microphone stand. And this one's great if you're podcasting or if you want to record music. It sounds incredible if you just set it in front of your acoustic guitar. I'm a singer-songwriter, so when I want to record new song ideas, I just put this on the desk between me and I sing and I play the guitar and I capture great sounds directly into my phone. So whenever I'm on, inspiration strikes, it's ready for me. But that one's been really good for us from a conferencing perspective because of that desktop kind of functionality. And then this one, which launched the day after the MV7, this is the MV5C, and it is a plug and play conference microphone that sits on the desktop, and you simply plug it in. Your computer's going to recognize it. It has a headphone output if you want to plug in a set of headphones, just like I'm doing with my MV7 right now. But this one takes away all that background noise. It actually has some advanced rejection going on there. My husband's been using it for a while, and his colleagues thanked him immediately because they could actually hear him and not our children in the background running around. So MV5C does some great rejection of all the noises coming in and just a great form factor. And so that one just
Now,
came out too. I didn't want to leave it out.
what's the learning curve on these? I mean, is this something that's really just plug and play, or is it the layperson like me who just, say I connect one of these, am I going to be lost in, well, why can I not get my audio to work? It's like when someone buys their first, DSLR camera or mirrorless
Oh
camera,
God,
and they're
yeah.
like, and they think it just takes great pictures, and there's like, no, there's a learning curve. Is it kind of a
Mhm.
similar thing, or is it pretty much plug and play?
No, it's definitely plug and play. That's what I like about the MV7 though, is that you can have it be plug and play, or you can get really in depth, like the digital
Fine tune it.
SLR kind of thing. That's a great option. But this
Exactly.
one, the MV5C, is truly plug and play. So if you have been working from your dining room for the past 6 months and your coworkers are ready to kill you because they can't hear you, speaking from a very specific example of my neighbor down the street who's doing just that. I gave him this, and his coworkers were like IMing me saying thank you, because you plug it in, it pops up. If your PC or Mac, it pops up and says, "Do you want to use this mic?" You say yes, and then you're done. And then if you want to hear yourself through the headphones, there's some instructions in the quick start guide on how to do that. So it doesn't automatically default to the headphones, which is great because that means you'll still be hearing it from your speakers of your computer, which I think people are most used to right now. So yes,
Yeah.
they're meant to be plug and play. When you plug in the Motive app to your phone, it will prompt you to download the apps so that you can have more control, because that's the main thing about these Motive apps, is that you can control the app either from the microphone itself, like the MV51, or from your phone. So super handy feature there.
That is awesome. Well, now no one has any excuse not to sound good. Yes, I'm talking to all my coworkers who I'm on Zoom with every day. You guys need to go out there and step your game up.
Yes.
It is true though. It's like you said, where if you're going to be on calls every day, which a lot of us are,
Hmm.
and you may not think about it. It's one of those things where, as long as they can hear me, it's fine. But when you hear good quality audio versus what most of us are used to hearing from the person who has their kids running around in the background, and
Hmm.
they're coming from a mic that's probably 3, 4 feet away from them as they sit back from their computer, it makes a huge difference for these, even if you're not podcasting or broadcasting.
Yeah, and especially too, because if you think about your poor laptop, I mean, we're not trying to make fun of that, but like, if it can't do everything, it's trying to do all of your processing and do the call. If you try to make it do all of the audio side of it as well, it's not going to be able to perform. It's not a jack of all trades. So that's why there's microphones made specifically for it. And now I know a lot of webcams do have built-in mics, and they've gotten better, but there's still a lot of value in getting a microphone that's standalone, that really makes the difference. And my video setup right now is my iPhone. I'm using my iPhone as my HD camera,
Oh, nice.
and I'm using an app called Shoot and going through Ecamm Live, but you don't even have to. You could use it with Zoom as well. So that's what's been so cool about this whole experience, is that we're able to learn new ways of getting better sound, better video, et cetera. But, if you already have a great camera, don't forget about the audio, because people will not be able to hang through bad audio. They can hang through subpar video, but
Yes.
why not give them a nice crisp video to look at instead of your granular, laptop thing?
You've really just, I wouldn't have guessed an iPhone camera, but you really sold my point. I mean, every time we do a presentation and we talk about audio or video, it's always audio is king. Yes,
Hmm.
it's nice to have great video, but video is not as essential. Like, look, I'm using a mirrorless camera. So,
Amazing.
but you have the better audio. So it's like I'm looking at you and it's like, yeah, your video feed is good enough to the point where if your audio was bad, I probably would have looked at your video and been like, what is she using? But your audio is so good that I'm not even questioning the video, because I think sound resonates with us when you have sound and visuals paired together. The
Hmm.
sound is going to resonate with us a little bit more, because while we are visual people, a lot of us slant towards the audio side of things, where
Oh,
if
yeah. There have been studies on that too. Whereas if you have subpar video, people can kind of hang, but if your audio's off, they're going to bounce off whatever content you're producing. So it's definitely important to keep audio in the forefront and at top of mind.
definitely. Well, Laura, thank you so much for the boost that we are all needing to go out and get better audio.
And there's tons of options. B&H has all of them. Motive, Motiv, by Shure. That's going to give you a wide variety of options to choose from.
Okay, I need to look at them because this is, I mean, I hate even saying this. It's like I was going to start a podcast, true story, with a
Love
buddy of
it.
mine. We were
Love
going to
it.
start it 2 years ago. And now that everybody has a podcast in the pandemic era, we talked the other day and I'm like, you sure? I'm like, you sure you don't want, and he's like, still like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
If
do it. I'm
you
like,
have an idea, you got to do it. You got to go for it.
yeah, I know, I gotta do it. And it was funny. One of the things we were held up on was mics. And there's so much information out there. It's almost too much information out there because
Yeah.
everything is good, and then you get one person, you read one review, and it's like going
It's
on
so confusing.
it's like TripAdvisor. It's like, my wife
It
on
is.
TripAdvisor, and I'm like, you don't
Yes.
know if it's that person that's miserable unless they're staying at the Ritz-Carlton giving reviews. So you
That
can't go
is
based on those. So
that
this
is
is why we
so
need
true.
experts who are on here, and like, we've been sitting here for the last half an hour listening to good audio on your end. So that tells me everything I need to know right there.
It's good stuff. And I'm unscrewing right now the SM7B so I can show you kind of what inspired the MV7. So this is the iconic SM7B, and these are those EQ options that I was telling you about, so you can get in there and change them. But those are in the app, the Shure Plus Motive desktop
Hmm.
app. And so yeah, this is kind of the inspiration if you see them kind of side by side. But this
It's
is
not
a
that big.
legendary, yeah, I mean, legendary broadcast mic, still the best. We're not saying like this is a replacement for this. This is just different. This is if you
Hmm.
want something that can do multiple things, but if you're wanting the like creme de la creme, this is still your guy.
That's
Don't
still a
discount
guy.
the SM7B because it's a beast. But yeah, it's a nice inspiration point for the MV7, and people have been wanting that USB option for a while, so it's nice to be able to give it to them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, Laura, thank you so much for all the insight, all the motivation. Thank you, Shore, as always, for sponsoring this. Now, hopefully, next time we talk, I'm going to be on a better mic setup, so I'll have to
Let's do
keep you
it, Derek.
posted on that.
Please
I know I
do.
got to pull the trigger. Got to pull
You
the
know
trigger.
people, you know
Exactly.
people.
It's not like I don't know where to go to get my questions answered and grab one
Exactly.
of these. So
Awesome.
wonderful. Well, thank you again, Laura, to all of our viewers. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another rendition of the B&H Virtual Event Space Audio Edition. Catch y'all next time.